So from the very childhood, I have been hearing the ad. अरे हुजूर वहाँ ताज बोलिए और आप सबने ताजमहल चाय जरूर आजमाई होगी और जाकिर हुसैन साहब आज जो मेरे साथ बैठे हुए हैं वो उस एड में बहुत ही प्रोमिनेंटली बताए गए थे. तो मैं उस एड को याद करते हुए I'll start the conversation with the legend Zakir Hussain, the Grammy Award winner, the Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan winner, and the most prestigious award that any artist can get in the United States, the Endowment Award, the National Endowment for Arts National Heritage Fellowship that Zakir Hussain ji has also received. It's truly an honor and a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Oh my God.
Welcome to Yo India TV with me, Jasleen Khanuja. And how's the feel on this Masters of Percussion program that is being held today in San Francisco?
Well, thank you. First of all, I'd like to say hello to your listeners of You India, and hope to someday see you in person in one of the concerts that we are doing. Well, let's see. It's great to be here. First of all, you should know that I also have a home in the Bay Area. So I spend half my time here, half my time in India, and so both feel like, you know, when I arrive here, it doesn't feel like I ever left. When I arrive in India, it doesn't feel like I never left. So, but it's great to be playing here. The Bay Area is like a melting pot of great musicians. They are all around here. They all live here. And so there's an incredible amount of how should I say, talent that's floating around this part of the country, whether it's Japanese or Chinese or Korean or Indian or African or Middle Eastern, you name it, they are all here. So it's great to be in this neighborhood, to be interacting with so many different styles of music. It's great to be playing in the Zallerbach Hall, which is one of the prominent concert halls in the United States. And we believe that I think we're going to have a pretty sold out crowd. And so we are really looking forward to doing a show tonight.
Absolutely, and we are looking forward to it as well. So tell us a little more about how you got to be in San Francisco. As far as I know, you are in the United States since your teenage, and you've been all around. You've been teaching in Princeton, you've been at Stanford as a visiting professor as well, and I've been hearing a lot, but it's different and you have made it big around the world. So tell us a little about the journey.
Well, I first came to America in 1970, and I was only supposed to be on the East Coast, play 5 concerts with Ravi Shankar ji, and leave. I was asked by Ravi Shankar ji to fly in and play as a replacement for my father because he was not well. So I came and I played those 5 concerts on the East Coast, and then I thought I was going to go back, but Ravi Shankar ji suggested that I should take this job that was offered at University of Washington in Seattle to teach in the ethnomusicology department. So, and he said that way you could not only teach and get some experience in that, but you will also be able to study at the university and try to finish your degree. So I said, okay. And so that's what we did. And so hum उड़ के Seattle आ गए, and then in Seattle वहाँ पर I started teaching, and then in that period I kept coming to the Bay Area and to Los Angeles because I was asked to play some concerts with different musicians. And in one such occasion, I had the honor of playing with Ustad Allarakha, who has a music school here in the Bay Area. And after that concert, and his tabla player was leaving, so he asked if I would come and teach at the college. So I took over that assignment. So in late 1971, early 72, I came to the Bay Area. And I've been here ever since. I've been teaching and playing with a lot of musicians in the area, whether it's Carlos Santana or Mickey Hart or Van Morrison was my neighbor, and various other, Tony Williams, so many great jazz musicians and Latin musicians and stuff. And it's just been a fabulous journey to be living here and to be playing for this audience, which is probably one of the most diverse audience in the United States.
So since you have also been teaching at Princeton and Stanford, how different is your experience with the American kids? What is the challenge here which you think is different than promoting similar kind of music in India?
Well, the challenge is more how to make it palatable for them. That's one. Secondly, how to speak the Indian music language in a way where it translates into their language, and they are able to actually plug into that and learn from it. And so that's one thing. Secondly, in America, unlike in India where the guru teaches and you learn from the guru, and there's no point in asking any question. You just do what you're told. In America, what happens is that the students are used to asking questions, and so when they ask questions, you have to come up with answers, which you never had a chance to do with your own teacher. And that's one thing that I found a challenge, because when I was teaching, a student would lift his hand and say कि भाई ये आप ये कायदा क्यों है, ये तिहाई क्यों है, और इसका definition क्या है. So all those things I had to then start to break down and find a way to be able to explain it in a way where the explanation would stand the test of time. That it would not be that I explained it a certain way and then another way, somewhere along the line, another question raised a little issue about the first answer. So that kind of thing. So that was a challenge. Apart from that, nothing was an issue. They were all very enthusiastic, great learners, focused, and put in the hard work. And it also helped me to be able to understand my music better, because I had to finally analyze it. I had to dissect it and put it in a more logical way.
So the variation, you guys are playing it twice, and the theme twice, going into the variation, that's just once, and then back to the theme until they finish the theme. Okay. 1, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, come on, groove, man, swing, variation.
So you are known for improvisation of music and fusion of music in a big way. It's not just the pure classical that you're into. That's what we understand as listeners. So tell us a little about where does the jazz come in when it comes to tabla, and how was your experience when you were invited by President Obama in White House for the International Jazz Day?
Well, that was a great honor that for the International Jazz Day, including an Indian musician in it, and that too at the White House. So it was a great blessing and an honor to be amongst all those musicians. And there was Sting, there was Aretha Franklin, there was Herbie Hancock, there was John McLaughlin, there was so many others. So it was great to be playing there. The fact is that I'm not the only one that's known for fusion. I mean, there are so many musicians in India, especially young musicians these days, who are really crossing the boundaries and are very, in a very commendable way, And so, my brother Tawfiq Qureshi has done incredible work, and people like Niladri Kumar or Rakesh Chaurasia, these guys have done really fabulous job. Anushka has done a fabulous job. So, fusion is not just limited to me or anything. One thing I have to say is, when you're talking about music, and you're talking about jazz or rock or pop or anything, when we play music, we don't think of them as something other than what we do. We think of all those forms of music as music. So when you have that kind of a mindset, it becomes easier to be able to interact. If you're going to arrive there with your flag saying, I'm an Indian musician and I'm just going to do that, then obviously the languages won't meet. You won't be copacetic or sympathetic to whatever's coming at you. So you have to be able to have an open mind and stop thinking of yourself as only one person or one tradition. You must open yourselves up. It's easier said than done. It's much easier for rhythm players to do that than it is for instrumentalists to do that. So that's where jazz or rock or pop comes in, when you open up your mind and you can play with John McLaughlin, the jazz guitarist, one day, or play with George Harrison, the rock musician, another day, and it all works beautifully because after all it's just melody and rhythm.
So we feel really proud because we see you as someone from India who has been up to the Grammys. There are hardly a few Indians who reach to the Grammy stage, and you got one. So tell us a little about how that happened and how do you feel?
Well, the first time I was able to get to the Grammys was in 1991 when we made the album Planet Drum. At that time there was no world music category. There was only folk category. So they created a world music category, and many albums went in for consideration. And ours was the album, The Planet Drum, that won the first ever world music category award. And after that, in 2000, I think, what was it, 2004 or 5, that we won again for Global Drum Project. So that happened, and it's very difficult, but I mean, A.R. Rahman has been able to do it, Vishwa Mohan Bhatt has been able to do it. But we've all been able to, in some ways, get to the Grammys, at least in nomination. Anushka has been nominated a few times, Ravi Shankar ji, of course, won. And but the one thing that Grammy has yet to come to terms with is that they haven't singled out Indian traditional music by itself or Indian folk music by itself. If we collaborate with somebody else, then in that world music category we get to have an award, like the Planet Drum or Global Drum or Vishwa Mohan Bhatt with the famous guitar player as Cooper, and so on. So that has happened, but I hope that Grammys will get to a point where Indian classical music albums will also get considerations in those categories.
Awesome, awesome. And you have also composed in especially the Malayalam movie Vanaprastham, which has also received award in the Istanbul International Film Festival, the Mumbai International Film Festival and all. So give us some insights into your association with movies.
Well, my association with movies has been from my very young days. When I was 12 years old, I was recording in the studios for great composers of Bollywood, Madan Mohan, Roshan, Shankar Jaikishan, Lakshmikant Pyarelal, and so on, S.D. Burman, and so I played quite a few recordings. So that kind of brought me into a situation where I was able to make music and compose music. I mean, that's usually the next step when you have been working in Bollywood. So I not only did Malayalam movie, I did a movie called Saaz, which was a basic Bollywood film with Shabana Azmi and me, and I've done quite a few films, and of course I've done Mystic Mysore and Heat and Dust and In Custody. These are films by Merchant and Ivory Films, so it's been a very interesting thing. But my first movie score in America was Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now. That was a very famous movie of its time, and that kind of brought me into the limelight of composing, and I do the job whenever it comes to me.
Awesome. So today we are at a beautiful concert, Masters of Percussion, and it is also commemorated to your father, Mr. Alla Rakha, who is a maestro who has been associated with the Punjab Baj Gharana of Tabla, and you've been a disciple, you've been learning from him, and we are celebrating in 2019 his birth anniversary, his 100th birth anniversary as well. So give us some insights into Masters of Percussion, and what would be your message to Yo India TV viewers on this beautiful occasion?
Well, I used to travel and tour with my father during the late 80s and early 90s, 1990s. And after a while, he decided he didn't want to travel as much. So he told me, why don't you introduce other rhythm players from other parts of India and bring them here, other masters, and give them a chance to be able to be heard all over the world. So I started bringing them over, and my wife said, because these are masters, why don't we call the performance Masters of Percussion? So that's how the name came. And since 1996, we've been doing this every other year. This year is a very special one, and so we waited. Last year we didn't do it. We gave a 3 years gap, and to 2019 is the year when it's his 100th birthday, his centenary. So we've decided to dedicate the whole Masters of Percussion tour as what you call a celebration for his 100th birthday, and today in Zallerbach we are doing basically the same thing, and he is one of the giants of our music, a colossus. He is the one who first interacted with jazz musicians and fusion musicians in the mid 60s. We weren't the one, and because he did it, the idea spawned. and we are the result of that. So it's a big blessings that he was amongst us, and for me to learn from him. And this, his 100th year, will finally culminate on his actual birthday, with his April 29th in Bombay, where we're going to have a big concert and with about 100 musicians, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for your time with us, and we wish you all the very best for all your future endeavors as well.
Thank you very much, and thanks to the listeners of Yo India. Hello my friends, I'm Zakir Hussain and you're watching me on Yo India TV. Stay dialed in.